Hi guys, hope you guys are doing awesome and welcome to the Sunday live stream. Gonna be reading Bhagwad Geeta and we have to make a lot of money and serve a lot of people and help a lot of people. Guys, my story starts with a broke college engineering student and I was trying to make money from the internet and now like 34. Look a little. What's my current age actually? Let me see. I think it's 35. Somebody told me it's 35. What is my age? What is my age? Age calculator. Okay, my date of birth is November 25th, 1991. Calculate. It says 34 years, 5 months, 29 days. Okay, 34 years, 34 and a half. Well, good. So let's start with Sankhya Yoga or the Yoga of Analytical Knowledge. So let me share my screen. L- Let the God bless us, everyone, and heal us. Let's we drive toward our own purpose. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of analytical knowledge. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna overwhelmed with pity, his mind grief stricken and his eyes full of tears, Sri Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjun, how has this delusion overcome you in the hour of peril? It is not befitting an honorable person, it leads not to the higher abodes, but to disgrace. O Parth, it does not befit you to yield this unmanliness. Give up such pity, weakness of heart, and arise, O vanquisher of enemy. Arjun said, O Madhusudan, how can I shoot arrows in battle on men like Bhishma and Dronachar who are worthy of my worship? O destroyer of enemies, it would be better to live in this world by engaging by begging than to enjoy life by killing these noble elders who are my teachers. If we kill them, the, the wealth and pleasure we enjoy will be tainted with blood. We do not even know which result of this war is preferable for us, conquering them or being conquered by them. Even after killing them, we will not desire to live. Yet they have taken sides of the sons of Dhritarashtra and now stand before us on the battlefield. I am confused about my duty and I am besieged with anxiety and faint heartedness. I am your disciple and a surrendered soul unto you. Please instruct me for what is certain and what is best for me. I can find no means of driving away this anguish that is drying up my senses. Even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on the earth or gain sovereignty like celestial gods, I will be unable to dispel this grief. Sanjay said, having thus spoken, Gudakech, the chastiser of enemy, addressed Rishikesh. Govind, I shall not fight, and became silent. O Dhritarashtra, thereafter, in midst of both the armies, Shri Krishna smilingly spoke the following words to grief-stricken Arjun. The Supreme Lord said, when you speak the word of wisdom, you are mourning for what which is not worthy. The wise lament neither for living nor the dead. Neither was there was a time when I did not exist, nor all these kings, nor in future shall any of us cease to be. Just as embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth, and from youth to old age, similarly at time of death, the soul passes into the another body. The wise are not deluded by this. O son of Kunti, the contact between sense and sense object give rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. They are non-permanent and come and go like winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O Arjun, the noblest among men, that person which is not affected by happiness and distress and remains steady is becomes eligible for liberation. Of the transient there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no cessation. This has rarely been observed and concluded by the seers of the truth after studying the nature of both. That which pervades this entire body, know it to be indestructible. No one can cause the destruction of this imperishable soul. Only the material body is perishable, and the embodied soul within is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. Neither of them is in the knowledge of that one who thinks the soul can slay, one who thinks soul can be slain. For truly the soul neither kills nor it can be killed. The soul is neither born nor does it ever die, nor having once existed does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. O Parth, how can one who knows the soul to be imperishable, eternal, unborn, immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As person sheds out worn out garments and wear new ones, likewise at the time of death, the soul casts off its worn out bodies and enters a new one. Weapons cannot shred the soul, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it, nor can the wind dry it. The soul is unbreakable and incombustible. It can neither be dampened nor dried. It is everlasting in all places, unaltered and immutable, primordial. The soul is spoken of as invisible, inconceivable, unchangeable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think the self is a subject to constant birth and death, O mighty armed Arjun, even then you should not grieve like this. Death is certain for one who has been born, and rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore, you should not lament over the inevitable. O sign of Bharat, all created beings are unmanifest before birth, manifest in life, and are again unmanifest on death. So why grieve? Some see soul as amazing, some describe it as amazing, and some hear of the soul as amazing, while others, even on hearing or about it, cannot understand it at all. O Arjun, the soul that dwells within the body is immortal. Therefore, you should not mourn for anyone. Right? Beside considering your duty as a warrior, you should not waver. Indeed, for a warrior, there is no better engagement than fighting for upholding the consciousness. O Parth, happy are Kshatriyas or the warriors to whom such opportunities to defend righteousness comes unsought, opening for them the stairways to the celestial bodies. If, however, you think, if you, however, you refuse to fight this righteous war, abandoning your social duty and reputation, you should certainly incur sin. People will speak of you as coward, and deserter. For a respectable person, infamy is worse than death. The great generals who you hold in high self esteem will think you fled from the battlefield out of fear, and thus will lose their respect for you. Your enemies will defame and humiliate you with unkind words, disparaging your might, and alas, what could be more painful than that? If you fight, you will either be slain on the battlefield or and go to the celestial abode, or you will gain victory and enjoy the kingdom of the earth. Therefore, arise with determination, O son of Kunti, and be prepared to fight. Fight for the sake of duty, treating alike happiness and distress, loss and gain, victory and defeat. Fulfilling your responsibility in this way, you will never incur sin. Hitherto, I have explained you the Sankhya Yoga, or the analytical knowledge regarding the nature of the soul. Now listen, O Parth, I shall reveal you the Buddhi Yoga, or the yoga of intellect. When you work with such understanding, you will be freed from the bondage of karma. Working in this state of consciousness, there is no loss or adverse results, and even little effort seems the one from the great danger. O descendant of the Kurus, intellect of those who are on this path is resolute, and their aim is the one point. But the intellect of those who are irresolute is many branched. Those with limited understandings get attracted to the flowery word of Vedas, which advocate obscenious rituals for elevation to celestial bodies and presume no higher principle is described in them. They glorify only the portions of Vedas that please their senses and perform pompous ritualistic ceremonies for attaining high birth, opulence, sense enjoyment, and elevation to the heavenly planet. With their minds deeply attached to the worldly pleasures, their intellect is bewildered by such things. They are unable to possess the resolute determination for the success on the path of to the God. The Vedas deal with mainly three modes of material nature. O Arjun, rise above these three modes to a state of pure spiritual consciousness, freeing yourself from duality, eternally fixed in truth, and without concern for material gain and safety, be situated in self. Whatever purpose is served by a small well of water is naturally served in all respect by large lake. Similarly, one who realizes absolute truth also fulfills the purpose of Vedas. You have right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruit of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activities. Never be attached to inaction. Be steadfast in performance of your duty. O Arjun, abandoning attachment to success and failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Seek refuge in divine knowledge and insight, O Arjun, and discard reward seeking actions that are certainly inferior to the work performed with the intellect established in divine knowledge. Miserly are those who seek to enjoy the fruits of their work. One who prudently practices science of work without attachment can get rid of both good and bad reactions in this life itself. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is an art of working skillfully in proper consciousness. The wise, endowed with equanimity of intellect, abandon attachment to the fruit of action which binds one to the cycle of life and death. By working in such consciousness, they attain the state beyond all suffering. When your intellect has crosses the quagmire of delusion, you will then acquire indifference to what has been heard and what is to be heard about enjoyment in this world and the next. When your intellect ceases to be allured by fruitive sections of Vedas and remains steadfast in divine consciousness, you will attain state of perfect yoga. O Arjun, said, O Keshav, what is the disposition of one who is situated in divine consciousness? How does an enlightened person talk? How does he sit? And how does he walk? The Supreme Lord said, when one discards all selfish desires and craving of the senses that torment mind and becomes satisfied in the realization of the self, such person is said to be transcendently situated, one whose mind remains undisturbed amidst misery, who does not crave for pleasure, who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. One who remains unattached under all conditions and is neither delighted by good fortune nor degenerated by tribulation. He is a sage with perfect knowledge. One who is able to withdraw senses from their object, just as tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shells, is established in divine consciousness and divine wisdom. Aspirant may restrain the senses from their object, but the taste for the sense object remains. However, even this taste ceases for those who realize supreme. The senses are so strong and turbulent, O son of Kunti, that they can forcibly carry away the mind of a person endowed with discrimination who practices self control. They're established in perfect knowledge who subdue their senses and keep their mind absorbed in me. While contemplating an object of senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. One who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion while using the object of senses attain the grace of God. By divine grace comes a peace in which all sorrows end, and the intellect of such person of tranquil mind soon becomes firmly established in God. But an undisciplined person who has not controlled mind and senses can neither have a resolute intellect nor a steady contemplation on God. For one who never unites the mind with God, there is no peace. How can one who lacks peace be happy? Just as strong wind sweeps away a boat from its charted course on water, even of the one of the senses on which mind focuses can lead intellect astray. Therefore, one who has restrained senses from their object, O mighty armed Arjun, is firmly established in transcendental knowledge. With what all beings consider as day is a night for the prospective sage. What all considers as day is a night of ignorance for the wise, and what all creatures see as night is a day for the introspective sage. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed with incessant flow of water from rivers merging into it, likewise, the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all moving around him attains peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy those desires. That person who gives up all material desires and lives free from sense of greed, proprietorship, and egotism attains peace. O part, such is the state of an enlightened soul. Having thus attained it, one is never again deluded. Being established in this consciousness, even at the hour of the death, one is liberated from the cycle of life and death and reaches the supreme abode of God. That concludes chapter 2. We go to chapter 3 now. Guys, you should also listen to this. The Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. Said, "Oh Janardhan, if you consider the knowledge superior to action, then why do you ask me to wage this terrible war? My intellect is bewildered by your ambiguous advice. Please tell me decisively the one path by which I may attain the highest good." The Lord said, "O sinless one, the two paths leading to enlightenment were previously explained by me. The path of knowledge for those inclined to contemplation, and the path of work, those inclined toward action. One cannot achieve freedom from karmic actions by just merely abstaining from work, nor can one attain perfection of knowledge by mere physical renunciation. There is no one who can remain without action even for a moment. Indeed, all beings are compelled to act by their qualities born out of material nature, the three gunas. Those who restrain the external organ of action while continue to dwell on sense object in mind certainly deludes themselves and are called to be called hypocrites. But those karma yogis who control the knowledge and senses with mind, O Arjun, and engage the working senses in working without attachment are certainly superior. You should thus perform your prescribed Vedic duties, since action is superior to inaction. By ceasing activities, even your bodily maintenance will not be possible. Work must be done as a yajna to Supreme Lord. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, for satisfaction of God, perform your prescribed duty without being attached to result. In the beginning of creation, Brahma created humankind along with duties and said, "Prosper in the performance of these yagnas or sacrifices, for they shall bestow upon you all you wish to achieve. By your sacrifices, the celestial God will be pleased, and by the cooperation between humans and celestial gods, the great prosperity will reign for all. The celestial gods, being satisfied by the performance of the sacrifice, will grant you desired necessities of life. But those who enjoy what is given to them without offering in return are verily thieves. The spiritually minded person who eat food that is first offered in sacrifice are released from all kind of sins. Other who cook food for their own enjoyment verily only eat sin. All living beings subsists on food, and food is produced by rain. Rain comes from the performance of sacrifice, and sacrifice is produced by the performance of prescribed duties. The duties of human beings are described in Vedas, and Vedas are manifested by God Himself. Therefore, all pervading Lord is eternally present in the act of sacrifice. O Parth, those who do not accept the responsibility of sacrifice established by the Vedas are sinful. They live only for the delight of senses, indeed, their lives are in vain. But those who rejoice in self, who are illumined, fully satisfied in self, for them there is no duty. Such realized soul, having nothing to gain or lose, either in discharging or renouncing their duties, nor they depend on other living beings to fulfill their self interest. Therefore, giving up attachment, perform action as a matter of duty, because by working without being attached to fruit, one attains supreme. By performing prescribed duties, King Janak and others attain perfection. You should also perform your duty to set an example for the good of the world. Whatever great actions great person perform, common people follow. Whatever standards they set, other world pursues. There is no duty for me in all three words, O Parth, nor do I have anything to gain or attain, yet I am engaged in the prescribed duty. For did If I did not carefully perform the prescribed duty, O Parth, all men would follow my path in all respect. If I cease to perform prescribed actions, all the world and would perish. I would be responsible for pandemonium that would prevail and would therefore destroy peace of human race. As ignorant people perform their prescribed duties with attachment to the result, O sign of Bharat, so should the wise act without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. The wise should not create a discord in the intellect of ignorant person who are attached to the fruitive actions by inducing them to stop working. Rather, by performing their duties in an enlightened manner, they should inspire the ignorant also to do their prescribed duties. All activities are carried by three modes of material nature, but in ignorance, the soul, deluded by false identification with the body, thinks itself as a doer. O mighty armed Arjun, illumined person, distinguished soul, as distinct from gunas and karmas. They perceive it only the gunas in shape of senses, mind, and others move along the gunas in shape of the object of perception. Thus, do not get entangled in them. Those who are deluded by the operation of the gunas becomes attached to the result of the action, but the wise who understand these truths should not unsettle them. Such ignorant people who know very little, performing all work as an offering unto me, constantly being meditating on me as a supreme, becoming free from the desire and selfishness and covetousness as well, with your mental grief departed, fight. Therefore, those who abide by my teachings of mine with profound faith and free from envy are released from the bondage of karmas. But those who find fault with my teaching, being bereft of knowledge and devoid of discrimination, they discard these principles and bring their own ruin. Even wise people act according to their own nature, for all living beings are propelled by the natural tendencies. What will one gain by repression? The senses naturally experience attachment and aversion to the sense object, but do not get controlled by them, for they are wave layers and foes. It is far better to perform one natural prescribed duty, do tingled with fault, than to perform other prescribed duty, do perfectly. In fact, it is preferable to die in discharge of one's duty than to follow the path of other, which is fraught with danger. Arjun said, then why is a person impelled to commit sinful act even unwillingly as if by force? O descendant of Vrishni, Krishna. The Supreme Lord said, it is lust alone which is born in contact with mode of passion and later transformed into anger. Know this as a sinful, all devouring enemy in the world. Just as a fire is covered by smoke, a mirror is covered by dust, and an embryo is concealed by a womb. Similarly, once knowledge gets shrouded by desire. The knowledge of even the most discerning gets covered by perpetual enemy in form of insatiable desire, which is never satisfied and burns like fire. O son of Kunti, the senses, mind, and intellect are said to be the breeding ground of desire. Through them, it clouds one's knowledge and dilutes the embodied soul. Therefore, O best of Bharat, as in the beginning, bring the senses under control and slay this enemy called desire, which is an embodiment of sin and destroys knowledge and realization. The senses are superior to the gross body, and superior to the sense is the mind. Beyond mind is the intellect, and even beyond the intellect is the soul. Thus, knowing the soul to be superior to the material intellect, O mighty armed Arjun, subdue the lower self, sense, mind, and intellect by the higher self, the strength of the soul, and kill this formidable enemy called lust. Beautiful. We go to the chapter 4, the yoga of knowledge and the discipline of action. Very nice chapter it is as well. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna says, I taught this eternal science of yoga to Sun God. Sun God taught it to Vishwaswain, who passed it on to Manu, and Manu in turn instructed to Ishwaku, O subduer of enemy. The saintly kings thus received his science of yoga in a continuous tradition, but with long passage of time, it was all lost to the world. The same ancient knowledge of yoga, which is supreme secret, I am today revealing unto you, because you are my friend as well as my devotee who can understand this transcendental wisdom. Arjun said, you were born much after Vivashwain. How am I able to understand that in beginning you instructed this science to him? The Supreme Lord said, both you and I had many, many births. O Arjun, you have forgotten them, but while I remember them are, O Parantapa, although I am unborn, the Lord of all living entities, and have imperishable nature, yet I appear in this world by virtue of Yogmaya, my divine power. Whenever there is decline in righteousness and increase in unrighteousness, O Arjuna, at that time I manifest myself on earth to protect the righteousness, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of dharma. I appear on the earth age after age. Those who understand the divine nature of my birth and activities, O Arjuna, upon leaving this body, do not take birth again, but come to my eternal abode. Be free from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past have become purified by knowledge of me, and thus has attained my divine love. In whatever form people surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. Everyone follows my path knowingly or unknowingly. O son of Pratha, in this world, though desiring success in material activities, worship celestial God, since the material rewards manifest quickly. The four categories of occupations were created by me according to people qualities and activities. Although I am the creator of the system, know me to be the non-doer and the eternal. Activities don't not taint me, nor do I desire the fruit of action. One who knows me in this way is never bound by the karmic reactions of work. Knowing this truth, even seers of liberation in ancient times performed action. Therefore, following the footsteps of those ancient sages, you too should perform your prescribed duty. What is action? What is inaction? Even the wise are confused in determining this. Now I shall explain to you what is the secret of action, knowing which you may free yourself from the material bondage. You must understand the nature of all three: the recommended action, wrong action, and inaction. The truth about this is profound and difficult to understand. Those who see action in inaction in action are truly wise amongst men. Although performing all kind of action, they are yogis and master of all their actions. The enlightened sages call those person wise whose every action is free from desire for material pleasure, who have burned the reaction of work in the fire of divine knowledge. Such people have given up the attachment to fruit of their actions, are always satisfied and are not dependent on external things. Despite engaging in activity, they do not do anything at all. Free from expectation and sense of ownership, with their mind and intellect fully are controlled, they incur no sin even though performing actions by their body. Content with whatever gain comes to its accord and free from envy, they are beyond duality of life, being equiposed in success and failure, and are now bound by their action even while performing all kind of activities. They are released from the bondage of material attachments, and their intellect is established in divine knowledge. Since they perform all actions as sacrifice to God, they are free from all karmic reaction. For those who are completely absorbed in God consciousness, the oblation is Brahman, the ladle which it is offered is Brahman, the act of offering is Brahman, and the sacrificial fire is also Brahman. Such person who view everything as God easily attains him. Some yogis worship the celestial God with material offerings onto him. Other worship perfectly, offer self as sacrifice in the fire of supreme truth. Others offer hearing and senses in the sacrificial fire of restraint. Still other offer sound and other objects of senses as sacrifice of senses. Some inspired by knowledge offer the function of the senses and their life energy in the fire of the controlled mind. Some offer wealth as sacrifice, while other offers severe austerity as sacrifice. Some practice eightfold path of yogic practices, yet others study the scriptures and cultivate knowledge as sacrifice while observing the strict vows. Still other offers as sacrifice the outgoing breath in the incoming breath, while some offer the incoming breath in the outgoing breath. Some ordinarily practices pranayam, restraining the out incoming and outgoing breath purely absorbed in the regulation of life energy. Yet other curtail their food intake and offer the breath into the life energy as sacrifice. All these known of sacrifice are cleansed of the impurities as a result of such performances. Those who know the secret of sacrifice engage in it and partake of it. Remnants are like nectar advanced towards the absolute truth. O best of gurus, those who perform no sacrifice find no happiness either in this world nor the next. All different kinds of sacrifice have been described in Vedas. Know them as originating from different types of work, and this understandings cuts the knowledge of material bondage. O subduer of enemy, the sacrifices performed in knowledge is superior to any mechanical material sacrifice. After all, O Parth, all sacrifices of work culminate in knowledge. Learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him with reverence, and render service unto him. Such enlightened saint can impart true knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Following his path and having achieved enlightenment from Guru Arjun, you will no longer fall into delusion. In that light of knowledge, you will see all living beings are but part of the Supreme and are within me. Even those who are considered the most immoral of sinners can cross this ocean of material existence by setting themselves in boat of divine knowledge. As a kindled fire reduces wood to ashes, O Arjun, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions of material activities. In this world, there is nothing as purifying as divine knowledge. One who has attained the purity of mind through prolonged yogic practice receives such knowledge in heart in due course of time. Those whose faith is deep and who have practiced controlling the mind and senses attain divine knowledge. Through such transcendental knowledge, they quickly attain the everlasting supreme peace. But the person who neither possesses faith nor knowledge or of doubting nature suffers downfalls. For the skeptical soul, there is no happiness either in this world nor the next. O Arjun, actions do not bind those who have renounced karma in the fire of yoga, whose doubt has been dispelled by the knowledge and who are situated in the knowledge of self. Therefore, with sword of knowledge, cut aside the doubt that have arisen in your heart. No sign of birth. Establish yourself in karma yoga. Arise, stand up, and take action. That concludes our today's reading, and all the best.